My name is Sandilya Garimella, and you can call me Sandy. So I have 18 plus years of total professional work experience, and I actually started my career as a fintech consultant. And that's when I worked with a lot of big clients like GlaxoSmithKline, Bank of America, on the typical IT fintech consulting kind of like, Oracle Financial ERP solutions and business process integrations. However, my company felt like the consultants who were trying to drive the technology is lacking some sort of financial background to it, having a basic understanding of it and all that stuff. So I had my MBA degree prior to initiating CIMA into my career, and I did that in IFT Delhi. So I know I was well equipped with it, but to be fair, in the accounting side, especially on the management accounting side, I felt like there was something lacking, I'm like a typical South Indian where you have an engineering background where you don't really work in the engineering space. And my engineering is chemical engineering, and I did an MBA and then the CIMA. It's a bit complex, convoluted kind of a way, but I think the way I have started, I just mentioned before, we officially kicked off that it's all for the wrong reasons, but somehow I felt like it's probably something happened in a good way for me, because initially when my company sponsored me, it was mainly to work with fintech consultants, having more consultation with clients, having more knowledge about how management accounting works, how APAR and GL works and all that. And personally, I was passionate about studies, so I did a lot of other degrees as well. So I thought, why not CIMA? And then I got into it. But then over a period of time, I realized that CIMA is actually much beyond than management accounting. And it will also help you see careers above and beyond management accounting. So it'll give you more like a holistic approach, I would say. Like, if you construct a house, you look at someone who builds the house, who does the painting, someone is an electrician, and there is a plumber and all that. So you have specializations in those fields, but I felt like CIMA is more like a holistic approach. Like you see something from a top view and get more realistic picture, but you can also get into a little bit detail about a specific stream, and you can start focusing on it, with other backgrounds and the field that you're working on. And that's why I liked CIMA more, because by the time I started CIMA and was trying to finish, I reached a stage where I'm not into the core finance anymore. I was more into the strategy, building the 10-year strategy roadmap for the university. And also we get like 250 million funding to manage all the initiatives and programs within that strategy. So I was not really into the core finance, but obviously I need to understand how the core finance works, so that how it can be integrated to the strategy and all that stuff. So CIMA has actually given me that kind of tools for me to play with. Um, so uh, as I said before, like I'm passionate about studies. I never looked CIMA to advance my career big time. But I think my growth through CIMA is very organic in nature. It has actually embedded in my thinking, in terms of how I started thinking. I was more confident about saying things about strategy and decision making and other things, because the theoretical aspect helped me in making my practical thinking more realistic. And also it will also, generally when I talk to CFO or someone, who is in that space, if they actually see me as a CIMA background person, they give more respect to it. So even before that, if I used to give some advice in terms of how they have to streamline the business process, they think, okay, you don't know anything about finance, you can keep quiet, but I think this professional degree gives you that kind of insight into your career, and give that positive outlook in terms of the way you speak with your clients. And as I said before, it's very popular in the big four consulting firms, especially with Deloitte and EY. They really consider CIMA is much above than other management degrees, especially if you are into general strategy and management sides. Obviously, you have a tax specific, that's a different story. But if anyone is joining consulting firm mainly to look at strategy, and also like how the management function, the integration of finance with IT, then I think Big Four really look for CIMA as a degree. So that's important. And as I said, I have not explored the option yet, but I think especially in Australia, if you have a CIMA degree, you can get CPA very easily, and you can start practicing as well, which is very popular in Australia. And it's also easy to crack CA because there will be, I think, 1 or 2 exams to crack CA. So the way CIMA actually helps, even though it's not like only for people who live in UK, it's actually for the global world, and also for especially it's a true globalization degree, I would say. That's how I look at it. And in terms of Saraf's Academy role in my success, I just want to keep it very simple because as I said, I always love studies, and I always want to study as much as I can, but studying is something different, knowing is something different, but actually cracking the exam and passing the exam is completely different, because I feel like you need more structured thinking. And I think that's where Saraf Academy helped me. It actually tried to structure the way I have to start thinking about it and getting more consistency, and all that stuff. And I think the best part with Saraf, probably you don't get that with any other academy, although I didn't experience that, but these are all something that I heard from my friends, that the practice and continuous review and feedback. So I think if you are actually studious and attend all the classes, literally you get feedback in every class. You know how you're performing, and I think before you even enter the exam, you know whether you pass or not. It's that level of feedback that you get from the sir, especially. Um, and I think probably most of you guys already know, studying with sir, but I think what I really like is the discipline and approach, because I think irrespective of whatever happens, whatever the events happen in life, there could be war happening somewhere, there could be earthquake somewhere, sir will still turn up on time without fail, and it gives you that motivation that if he's putting that much of effort, why can't we? I think that really changed my approach in terms of studying. So at the time of studying, I had my personal challenges as well, with kids 4 and 2 at home. It was not easy for me, but I think when I looked at sir, it naturally motivated me to study hard. So I think you will definitely succeed in I think anyone who has grit and determination will succeed. But I think if that path has to get easier, then probably it's Saraf's Academy. That's how I look at it. And my final advice, and you can all feel free to ignore it, but this is my final advice to the students who want to study and progress further. I think we all are professionals, and no one will hold us responsible for anything, irrespective of whether we study or not. But it's always about you. It's not about anyone. It's not about your family. It's not about anyone. It's always about you. So, however, if you are serious about it, practice and sincerity are key. If you don't practice, if you don't have sincerity in terms of your approach, I don't think it will be easy to crack. At the same time, it's not hard if you practice and you're sincere about your approach. And to be fair, CIMA is definitely not a rocket science. It's an easy subject to crack, but you just need the practice, discipline, and sincerity. And I'm sure if you actually follow the simple principles, you'll crack it for the first time without fail. Thank you very much.